Hello and welcome back. I'm Joseph Hoffman. Today we are learning how to play the left hand of Black Snake. Let's get started by taking a look at the score. All right, today we're learning the left hand, so we're down here in the bass clef, and we start off with a chord. Can you tell me the lowest note of this chord? What's its letter name? If you said D, you're correct. So we start off and we have this D, then it skips up to F sharp, and I know it's a sharp because of our key signature here with an F sharp and a C sharp. So any Fs or Cs in the whole piece will be automatically sharp. So you have D, F sharp, A, and you'll notice that chord is staccato. And then we have the same chord again. So let's try that out. When we have a do, mi, and so all together, we call that a one chord. So let's try this on the piano. Okay, let's place our left hand in the D major pentascale, and we're going to play the one chord using do, mi, and so 2 times, and you'll notice it's marked staccato. So remember to give a nice lift with your wrist. 2 one chords, 1, 2. Now you try. Great, let's come back to the sheet music. Now to help learn this song a little faster, let's go through and we're going to use some color. Let's mark all of the one chords in the whole piece with a capital I. That's a Roman numeral for 1. You can do this in your music as well. Here's a 1 chord. Now, looking through, can you find any other chords that are made up of D, F sharp, and A all stacked together? Is this chord D, F sharp, and A? Nope. You can see that these top 2 notes have changed. So keep looking and point to any other 1 chords you can find. If you're pointing here and here, you're correct. So let's add capital I's for 1 under those 2 chords. How about on line 2? Can you find any other 1 chords? That's right. Here we are with 2 more 1 chords. Let's mark those. Any others? Nope, that's it. Okay, now let's figure out this next chord. Let's look at how each note has moved in relationship to this 1 chord. Looking at this bottom note, did it change or stay the same? That's right, the bottom note is still a D, but this F sharp stepped up to G and the A stepped up to B. Let's see how we'll play that on the piano. All right, make sure you still have your left hand in the D major pentascale. For the 4 chord, we're going to need these 3 notes. Because remember, the F sharp and the F sharp and the A stepped up to G and B. How we'll do that is we'll use finger 2 to play G, and our finger 1 will slide over to B, like this. So we'll have 2 1 chords, then thumb, finger 1 slides up, and then 2 4 chords. Now, can you try playing 2 4 chords with a nice staccato wrist lift? You try. Good. Now let's put 2 1 chords together with 2 4 chords. So we'll have 1, 1, 4, 4. Now you try. Good. Now let's come back to the score. All right, let's mark all of the 4 chords. In Roman numerals, 4 is made with an IV, and it's customary to put this line above and below for Roman numerals. Don't ask me why. The Romans liked it that way. And then we have another 4 chord right there. Now, can you help me find any more 4 chords on line 1? If you're pointing here and here, you're correct. So we have another 4 chord, which I'm marking with green. You can do the same if you like. Very good. How about on line 2? Any 4 chords? That's right, you probably found 2 more right here. So let's mark those as well. All right, now let's figure out this next chord. This is a new chord for us. Let's start by figuring out the letter names that we have here. Once again, the bottom note has stayed the same. We're still on a D here. What would you call this next note? That's a step above it. That's right, that's E. And then we skip up to this note, which we'd call what? Yes, that's a G. So those three notes together are D, E, G, which I'm going to write up here as a little reminder. DEG. D, E, G makes a new kind of chord that we call the 2-7 chord. Now, I'll explain later why it's called the 2-7 chord. For now, just take my word for it. It gets a little bit complicated with the naming of chords. Let's come to the piano and see how to play the 2-7 chord. All right, make sure your left hand's still in the D major pentascale. The 2-7 chord is made up of these three notes, D, E, and G, and you're going to use finger 5, 4, and 2. Let's practice that chord a few times. It feels a little bit awkward at first, perhaps. Just keep a nice curve in your fingers, a relaxed hand position. Let's play it 5 times. 1, do it with me, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. Then you'll notice in this measure, after the 2-7 chord, we have these notes stepping down, starting on so, fa, mi, with the rhythm ti, ti, ta. So let's practice going on the 2-7 chord. 1, 2, 2 beats on the 2-7 chord, and then ti, ti, ta. Try it along with me. Ready, go. 1, 2, ti, ti, ta. Let's try it one more time. We play the 2-7 chord and then going on from there. Go. 1, 2, ti, ti, ta. Great. Now let's come back to the score. Okay, let's find all the 2-7 chords and mark them. I'm going to use orange this time. We've got a 2-7 chord here, and because the 2 chord, again, which I'll explain more about later, is minor, it's customary to write the Roman numerals in lowercase. So I'm using little I, and then with a regular numeric 7 makes the 2-7 chord there. And do you see any other 2-7 chords on line 1? Nope, not a 1. So let's come on line 2, find the 2-7 chord for me. That's right, we've got one right here, another D, E, G chord, 2-7. Very good. Okay, now, any other chords left in this song that we need to analyze? That's right, there's still one more right here. Let's see how these notes are moving in relationship to the chord before. You'll see now the D, which has been holding very steady on all these chords so far, steps down to a C. We were on a D, now we step down to C. You'll remember the key signature tells us that it's actually going to be a C sharp. The G stayed the same, but this top B stepped down to A. This makes the 5-7 chord. We've got Ti, Fa, So, all put together in a 5-7 chord. Let's review how to play that on the piano real quick. Okay, let's position our left hand in the D major pentascale, and then for the 5-7 chord, remember our finger 5 always goes down a half step to T, and we'll get the 5-7 chord on these notes right here with finger 5, 2, and 1 in the left hand. And once again, it's a half note, so we'll hold it 2 beats, 1, 2, and just like before, we have ti, ti, ta. So let's practice that. Play the 5-7 chord and then the next 3 notes. Go. 1, 2, ti, ti, ta. Great job. Now let's come back to the score. Okay, let's mark all of our 5-7 chords. I'm using a pink highlighter this time. 5, 7, and what about on this row? I almost gave away the answer. Do you see any? That's right, they're right here and here. So let's mark those as well. We have 5, 7 and 5, 7. And that's it for chords. All right, now let's come back to the piano and try to put all of these chords together. Now let's put all of these measures together from the beginning. Place your left hand in the D major pentascale and we'll take turns. I'll play a measure, then you play a measure. Here we go, starting with measure 1. My turn. 1, 1, 4, 4. Now your turn. Good, next measure we have the 2-7 chord. 1, 2, ti, ti, ta. Your turn. Good, now going on to measure 3. 1 chord, 4 chord, 4 chord. Your turn. Good, now we need the 5-7 chord. 1, 2, ti, ti, ta. Your turn. Good. Now measure 5 just like measure 1. 1 chord, 1 chord, 4 chord, 4 chord. Your turn. Good. Now the 2/7 chord. 2 ti ti tom. Your turn. Good. Now it's time for the last 2 measures. You'll notice we start off with 2 staccato 5/7 chords. So let's try that. Your turn. Good. And then next we have so, mi, re, do. Can you play that? Good. Now let's put that together. We have 5/7, 5/7, so, mi, re, do. Your turn. Good. And then you'll see we have 2 notes that are lower than our lowest finger on the piano, which tells us we're going to have to shift our hand. So take a look at this next note, and can you tell me its letter name? If you said A, you're correct. It's this A right here, a step above ground G. I call the bottom line of the bass clef ground G because it's at the bottom. And then 1 step higher would be A. And the score tells us to use finger 1 on A. And now take a look at the last note. And can you figure out what note that is? It helps to use the bottom line, ground G, as a starting point. And then if you just count down line, space, you'll see that this note hangs below the line, a skip below ground G. Here's ground G. Skip below that would be E, and then step below that is D. So we end with A, D, 1 octave lower than we started. So watch that once. I'm going to start at the 2 5/7 chords. We have 5/7, 5/7, so, do. So basically you're moving from this D major pentascale down to this D major pentascale to finish with a so, do, 2 staccato notes. One more time, you have 5/7, so, mi, re, do, so, do. Now you try. Great job. Now, I'd like you to press pause, and now that you know all of the left hand, try going through it 3 or 4 times, and then when you're ready, press play, and I'll play it with you all the way through. All right, I'm going to play the entire left hand. You're welcome to play along with me or just listen. I'll count off 4 beats and then away we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great job learning the left hand of Black Snake. These chords take most students several days of careful practice and lots of repetitions to master. Be sure to stick with it every day. Be patient with yourself. And once you have the left hand and right hand mastered hands alone, then you'll be ready to put the hands together in an upcoming lesson. Thanks for watching and happy practicing. Do you see that black snake anywhere? No, I think we lost him. I wonder how he got out of his cage anyway. I know. I'm sure he just scaled the wall. Oh, that made me think of another one. What did the snake do when it started to rain? I don't know. What? He turned on the windshield viper. Oh, someone still needs their goodnight hiss. Ah, run!